Well, this was a good start. Hey guys, how you doing today? My name is Mason. Welcome to the channel, place where I watch movies and TV shows that I haven't seen before. I'm diverging a little different from what I do. I'm going to be giving my review for a film I had just seen today, and that is Chris Stuckman's directorial and writing debut, Shelby Oaks. Now, I would like to preface this in my opinion real quick, because first I'm going to talk about my thoughts on this before I saw the movie, and then diverge into my thoughts onto the movie. So when this first came up that a YouTuber who reviews movies was making a movie, I was intrigued by that the most. I didn't really know much of the film's story or plot, like what all was going to happen. I looked at the cast and saw a couple names in this. Keith David was the one that piqued my interest the most, and he's got a good scene in the movie. It's very nice seeing this big and major of an actor in a small indie film like this. But let me preface this. I don't know much on Chris Stuckman himself. I haven't watched many of his reviews as of late. The main reviewer I watch is Sean Chandler, which I know he helped fund this movie, and he's the one I listen to more. He's kind of the person I agree with most on movies. Like, we kind of have similar looks at the films we see, and sometimes opposing, but it doesn't matter. We kind of see the same way the director looks at his films, but I'm very curious to look into more of Chris Stuckman after this movie, because watching this, seeing what he brought to life from his own mind was so interesting, in my opinion. And if I'm correct, his wife helped make this too, and they both worked on this together. So I'm trying to, aside from that, I don't think I watched a trailer for this really. I saw bits of it on social media in whole, but I didn't look up much for this film, because my main goal for this film was to support this film, because seeing someone who, like me, loves movies with all their heart get to make a movie was so truthful in my eyes that I wanted to see this film succeed. And from the looks of it, with its opening box office, it's doing good numbers for an indie film made by a YouTuber, with, I believe, a 7 million opening. Future me put this in the video and tell me whether it was right or wrong, but this was, in my opinion, this is truly a great start to a film career, in my opinion. I wouldn't call this a flawless film. There are a couple nitpicks I would have, but I don't want to diverge too far into them, because if you're watching this, I don't want it taken to you personally too much, but I think in a while I'll get to what I kind of didn't like, and I'll focus on what I liked right now. So, starting off, the story really grabbed me right off my feet right at the start. So, from the look of it at the start, it looks like found footage. This is what it's going to be. But with this being around the time the start of YouTube and a paranormal investigation group, it intrigued me with what the plot was going to be with this group goes missing, but 12 years go by and they still haven't been found. So I was starting to think, how could this have gone? Like, what happened here to make this story set forward? So the start of it looks like it's going to be kind of someone's documentary on what's going on. So, but once that part closes and we jump into the true story with the sister, Mia, there's a good, like, holy shit moment that I had. Like, there's a character in this that does something in the opening that truly shocked me, and I just couldn't forget that moment after seeing it. It stuck in my mind for all I could think. And as the film progressed, I just kept trying to think more and more, what is it that is doing this? So, the truth with it, you see the tragedy this sister faces, losing her sister, and how much of a tragedy this is, even on her. So she devotes a lot of time with this newfound tape from this person who gave me the scare in the opening, and it gives off more clues to what could be of what is to come of the culmination in this film. So which this leads us on our journey, and we look at the use of their videos of what they looked at and investigated does play a huge part in what we see towards the end, and helps you build in your mind all the clues to complete the puzzle. And then I'm trying to think. We find out what it is that happened, and it blew my mind how distraught and graphic the story went with the idea of what it chose to do. Because I won't go into what it is, because I really want this film to be supported and give the example that people like us can do this. We could make a dream of an idea we have a reality into a film. And that no matter how much it would take, we can do this. We can put as much as we want into it. And even if it's not a success, we still have this passion project we have our name on to give our kudos to, and our team that worked so hard to do it. But with that said, the nitpicks I have with this are slowly towards the end, and it's not really I have problems with it. It's mainly I'm feeling I'm not clicking the ideas together in my head too well, because I'm a very open-ended person. I can take ambiguous and subjective films in very well, and I will choose to look at people's different point of views to see what probably is the right idea or their idea, but kind of makes a little sense in my mind. But if I'm being honest, watching this, I would really like to try and sit down with Chris, possibly, and ask him his focal point for the idea of what he had in mind for this ending. And with this being a horror film, I will say the kind of similarities I saw with this film it does feel a bit like Blair Witch Project mixed with Longlegs a little bit. And both films I like. Longlegs, I'm subjective on. I see it as more of an art piece, as a great film, but I still respect its idea. And Blair Witch, I think, is truly one of the best marketed films ever made, and one of the best horror examples in the start of found footage. So, with that being said, the ideas thought of in this film and where it chooses to go are interesting, but I would like to know the full picture of what is and what it means. Because I don't really want to give too much away, but alright, hold on. Give me a sec. Spoiler. I'm gonna put a spoiler warning real quick. A spoiler warning. Skip to this timestamp if you don't want to be spoiled and see the movie for yourself. So there's that. I'll give you that. 3, 2, 1. Spoilers. So where this goes, we see what happens to the sister who goes missing, and what plays out seems like a ritualistic summon, maybe, or a spell placed on this person. But where it goes in the end, seeing how it kind of bounced around with who this was really after and who was really the target in this, was interesting. But I think if I knew the idea of what it was meaning, I think I could respect this more. I wouldn't say I want to go rush out to see this in theaters again, but I will watch it when it goes to digital again to see how my opinion did change, cuz I'm very curious to see how much money this film could make, because I know Chris Stuckman has a huge fan base, and I'm pretty sure that factored into this film making as much money as it did this opening weekend. So I will say, Chris, if you're watching this, please take my thoughts on your film with a grain of salt. I hope I didn't offend you much by it, but I'm just really curious to speak to you about this film and ask the questions of what your original idea was for this film. So with this being a horror film, there were very graphic and unsettling moments in this film, especially the focal points of it, like the beginning, middle, and end had some of the scariest moments in this movie that I had probably seen this year. And saying that is a big step with how horror has been this year, with stuff like Weapons, Together, 28 Years Later, what else? Black Phone 2, all the major horror films this year that had been claimed as scary. It's saying something. This is truly the year of horror, in my opinion. So if you guys would like to leave in the comments what you think, please do, and share what you think was the intention of Chris Stuckman for this film, because I would love to hear more about this film, and even the production going into this. I would like to know so much about, seeing it from the mind of someone similar to me who loves movies so much. But aside from that, I have no other words. This was a very, very good film. I would give this a 7.5, close to an 8 out of 10 movie, in my opinion. And I would highly recommend seeing this if you're a horror fan, and to support Chris Stuckman in what he wanted to make for his first film. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this. I would like to try making more movie reviews in the future. So if you guys have some films that you'd like me to talk about, let me know. I do plan to see Running Man and Wicked for Good in November, so you could expect reviews for those films coming out in November. And then I think I might try to see Begonia possibly and review that, because I know that might be a huge topic. But aside from that, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.